Okay. Okay, so we are well into this call, but I wanted to make sure we capture the recording of Anja's story here. This is Aligning with Success. It is February the 9th, and we're going to share this wonderful story. Go ahead, Anja.
Yeah, thanks, Mike and Dave, for having me on here. My Negan story goes really back decades. And I originally interviewed Negan because I like the idea of network marketing. And as somebody that grew up in Germany and my first degree being in hospitality, and I had seen what ambition can do in a corporate structure, often there is no place for a young person to have ambitious and be ambitious in a corporate structure. And when I was introduced to network marketing, having newly moved to America, it was so exciting. What do you mean? You can build teams and you can go faster. And if the person above you doesn't want to go as fast, there is no ceiling. And that was very exciting because I worked in a family business at that time. And I was like, the way Americans feel about raising family and having everything that you want doesn't align with what my feeling was, that I wanted to have a generational legacy type of business that I can do while raising a family on my terms. And that was very, very distinct, important to me, on my terms. And the people that got me involved in the business threw up Negan on me for 8 months. And I was like, oh my God, not another network marketing. I had had some experience. And the last company I was involved with before Negan, I built a very successful business. I was the district manager for South Florida, and the company folded. And here was a good lesson that stuck with me throughout Negan. So when I work with new people in Negan, and this comes from my own experience, I don't speak from something. I'm somebody that believes in you walk the talk and you get her done. And when I looked at Negan, it was pretty much in the beginning just to get my now sponsor off my back. And I'm like, I can't tell my husband I got involved in another network marketing where the other one so badly failed because they didn't have the succinct growth to financially support the company that they were building. Now, why would you look at a 50-year-old legacy company? Because they got that in place. And they're not going to fold after 3 months or a year in business. They're here for the long run and they want to build that. So when I went to the first wellness preview with people at that time, I saw the vision of the 5 pillars of health. Some of you might be new here that might not be so familiar. So it's a healthy mind, a healthy body, a healthy family, a healthy society, and healthy finances. And if you have balance in all 5 of these, if this was a wheel on your bicycle, on your motorcycle, on your car, if one spoke was broken, it would be kind of a loopy ride. And so I really looked at Negan from that angle. And when I heard at Negan, we are humans being more, there was something in here that triggered so much like, wow, I feel like I've always been that, a human being more. So I think it's very important in the beginning when we start with a new person to look at that wheel, the 5 pillars of health, and ask them what stands out to them the most. And for me at that time, I've always been into alternative health. So magnets and all that was not a problem for me. I didn't need to kick the tires on that. Having come from Germany, I was very familiar with alternative ways of wellness and healing. But for me, it was the finances. And how can I use that to make a greater impact so I can create a lifestyle on my terms that I can inspire others to and empower others. So building that into the society and making an impact. And when I came to Nashville for the Boss event and for the convention, I was in a place where I had been where I'd been was my Nikon business, and it had kind of dwindled a little bit. And I was re-interviewing Nikon if this new launch was Louis Kostuga at the helm, if I would hear something that would make my heart sing again, that I could put my effort, my muscle, my roll up the sleeve behind to really say, hey, yes, this is what I want. And, you know, you and I had this amazing conversation at the end of the convention at the bar, and just really for myself finding that spark. And you told me, set a date of destiny on my calendar. So I did. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. And if I'm aligning with a royal diamond who is asking me now to put me on the line for this, how do I make it happen with the people that are already on my team? I'm currently a platinum going on to royal diamond. And how do I take this zest and this inspiration I have for the business and translate to people? And we had several phone conversations afterwards, but the date of destiny was on my calendar. And I knew when we have a goal, things align. There's that famous quote by Goethe about commitment. And I'm paraphrasing because I know it in German, but I won't bother you with German right now. But it's when things aligned and when our commitment aligns, providence moved. So I was so excited coming home from the Boss event and hearing the new things and having a conversation directly with Louis that I was like, these people are serious. They are willing to roll up their sleeves, and Vision 2030 is right in alignment with other things that I'm doing. And I just put it out there. Every day, it was more than an intention. It wasn't an affirmation. It was an intention that I felt in my heart. And some of you might know about these things, studying Bob Proctor, studying things, meditation. So every day my goal was, I am adding 4 committed, excited, evolutionary Nikon Gold consultants to my team. And I started with people that were in the business already, and some said, nah, it's not really for me, not now. But I knew I had to do it now. And all of a sudden I get an email from somebody. Hey, are you still doing Nikon? And that person enrolled in my Nikon business in October, and by December was gold. And out of all that excitement and working with them, other executives came aboard, both in my business direct frontline and in her business. But when she texted me, I didn't know this person from anybody. I'm like, hey, let's hop on a call, like a FaceTime call. I'm a big believer in doing business belly to belly when you can, and seeing each other when you can't be in person. And I asked them, you know, out of the 5 pillars of health, what stands out, the 5 things, what stands out the most to you? And she shared with me that she had been in Nikon involved many, many, many years ago, over 25 years ago, and her husband had passed away, and she's now in her 80s. And her son had been contemplating that they wanted to get back into network marketing, and they were looking for a home to build their business. And she shared with me that her husband always was so excited about building a network marketing business. And their goal was building a legacy in his honor. And I was so moved by just the way that both of them shared that it's a mother-son team. And I was like, okay, I'm in. How do we make this happen for you? And they got to work. And they didn't ask for much support, but I always texted, hey, I'm here for you. If you need 3-way calls, what can I do? How do we want to support you? getting to the next level. And it's not so much support, it's more assistance and guidance. And they just took it on, and the results that they saw with the product were incredible. And so, yes, I see what both you and Dave are talking about. You can build a retail business, you can build a network marketing legacy business. And for most of us, it's a little bit of a combination, and finding that sweet spot for ourselves. And for myself is every day I talk Nikan. And I don't go with one thing, oh, I'm going to recruit for the business aspect. I'm going in with the 5 pillars of health. How do you want to be assisted? How do you want to be served? How do you want to align in who you are, bringing that out more into the world? And for some people, it's the finances. It's a lot of people right now that are really hurting in the finances. And bringing the whole vision together in the places where they're looking for, and supporting that and helping them build a goal and a mission and a legacy, because this is not a network wish marketing company. It's not net wish marketing, it's network marketing. But that doesn't mean we want to hustle like a 40-hour job. We want to be strategic and using teams and doing 3-way calls with people. And if you have an upline like me that's not too active in regards to that, find people that you're excited to work with. I have done 3-way calls with Madeline because I was working with somebody that had more those type of concerns. And yes, I'm an expert in that. But when they hear from somebody else, that makes them feel, oh, wow, I don't have to do this alone. So sometimes we fall into that, oh, I know everything. I've been doing Nikan for over 25 years. I'm an expert. But it makes the new person feel like that they always have to come to you for the answers or the solutions. And that's not how you build a networking business. It's networking together along all the realms. And just connecting people to other people. It gets them a bigger vision, and connecting them into the calls. And sometimes that doesn't happen because everybody is busy and in different things, but send people recordings, get people on the phone call. Like I said, I'm a big fan of doing this type of interaction, even with people that I enroll. So that was a lengthy answer probably to your question, but can you get, I'm a little bit excited, and I can translate the whole thing in German now. So,
Well, your
and I,
answer is an amazing training call. I mean, honestly, talk about the basics. If you had somebody brand new on the call, this call here tonight, man, would they have gotten the horsepower that they needed, the nuggets. I mean, that was brilliant. Did you have
and you know
anything?
what? I let me add one thing in to kind of close on my, and of course I'd be happy to answer questions. It's always great, like on the recent call that we had, the company-wide call, was that Empowered Living
Yep.
2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Master Day.
And uh
Master
and
Day.
uh Master Day, yes, Master Day. And Jeff interviewed me a little bit. What is always super exciting, I'm a competitive person. As a German, I like the strategy, I like the roadmap. Let me see how I can get there the fastest, the quickest. I love winning, I love the acknowledgement. But for me, at this place, what's even more exciting is when I know somebody that just onboarded with our team is getting a super great bonus, and then calling them and like, hey, did you check in on your bonus level? To me, hearing like, oh my goodness, we're so happy we found you. We're so happy we see a vision and a company that is committed to a long-term vision, to continue being a successful legacy business.
Awesome. Wow.
My
That
hat's off to you. Awesome job. Well done.
awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so I have notes here and I want to just go for them before I refer to Madeline here. So first thing I wrote before you started talking was ABC because I was going to touch on that because I think that's the cornerstone of our business. It's what I'm doing the most and that's the thing that's producing the best results. But then you got into what got your attention, Anya, at the beginning was you saw vision. What attracted you to Niken was a vision of something more than the products. It was the concept behind Niken, the five pillars, vision of what that could look like and mean. And then when it was translated into the words humans being more, that really touched you because that's something you are already governed around. Now, how many of you would like to have a few dozen Anyas on your team? Well, what does it
I
take?
would. I
She
would.
she just told us what it takes. She just told us exactly what it takes. So if you're trying to figure out who you're looking for, well, you just figured it out. What are they attracted to? And therefore, what do you have to put in front of them for them to recognize it and be attracted to it? You see what I'm saying? The bait in Niken, when you're selling the vision, is a lot simpler than you might think it is. Okay, then you talked about helping a person. Your focus was on their five pillars, on what it was that they wanted to accomplish and what it is that you could do to work with them, to guide them and assist them in that accomplishment. And you created a goal in 90 days. How many of you on this call would like to have a few golds in 90 days stories under your belt? Okay, so this wasn't done in some decades ago. This was just this last quarter. Okay, so it's doable in real time right now. Again, what does it come down to? Well, there was a bit of strategy, there was some goal setting, there was some, obviously, she had made herself available through the ABCs. And then I wrote that down again, ABC, because you brought that back up. The idea of how important ABCs are for making the business work. And so if you're not doing these things, but you want to have the kind of success she's talking about, then what do you need to change? Who you're looking for and what you're doing with them. And again, that comes back to what is the business you're building? What's your vision of the business that you're building? She said, I back up a bit, you made a commitment based on what you were inspired by coming from the event in where was it that we were in
Nashville.
Nashville. Yes,
Nashville.
you were inspired, and you said to yourself, "I'm going to find and help four people become gold. I'm going to enroll four new golds, not four new consultants, not four new customers, four new golds," because you understood the association to that means a business builder. So you had a vision as well for your business. That's really important. Your vision to get things kickstarted once you were inspired that you could lock horns with Niken and bring the vision of Niken and its long-term vision. You said that was a big part of it. You saw the future. You saw that these guys were serious about it, that you could get into partnership with Niken because you felt the sincerity and the integrity behind that. So you could establish a partnership with Niken to then realize what you wanted to realize. And it began by structuring that in terms of a vision of four new golds. You translated the idea into something structural and tangible that you can imagine. You can actually imagine this now. There's four people and they're going to achieve the rank of gold. And then out of thin air, somebody calls you. What a surprise. I think I've heard that concept in the past probably a few times. They think they call that the law of attraction or whatever you want to call it. But you obviously attracted this call. And what was good about that was you knew what you were looking for. So it wasn't hard for you to see that these people, based on your interview of them, you interviewed them and you asked them the most important question, which is those five pillars, what do they see in it for themselves? And when you were sold that they had a real vision and it was something meaningful and it was something you could get into, you were sold. You said, I'm in. In other words, you didn't say you're in, you said I'm in. I'm buying into their vision. I see what they want. You understand what's going on here? This is a script, guys. You could follow this to the T in terms of what you should be doing next in building your business. So then that created the engagement. That created the reason the two of you should partner up. Now you have a vehicle, you have a vision, they have a vision, You have a common purpose, and now you have a reason to work together. You lock horns, and now you turn that vision into a reality because you're not afraid of the work, because the work is just the inevitable actions you take when you have a vision that you're working toward. And when you believe in that vision and you believe in the people you're working with and that they believe in it, and the rest is history, folks. Rinse and repeat and drill that business down a few more generations, Anya. That's the key to solidifying that leg, obviously. But you have the formula. That's the formula. Madeline, I'm not sure what more we could add to this, but I know you have something you want me to pull up on the screen, so let me go ahead and do that.
Right. And are we still recording or did you
And we
just
are,
record
and we are, and it is somewhat ties into what we're
Yeah,
talking
it
about
does.
because we just talked about this very thing right here, what Anya did
Okay.
to partner up with somebody to create something.
Okay. I'd like to first say I see Pam and Ron Barnes on here, and I want to thank them for being on here. And I think the Barnes are the only other people on that are on another Power Leaders call with Luis. Is there anybody else on here tonight? If you could just raise your hand if you're on Power Leaders, or it's just the Barnes and me.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
Chrissy's there. No, no, no. Okay, no, on the Power Leaders call. Ron, are you there? And Pam tonight? I see their faces up there.
Shannon.
Okay, all right. And Maggie, I don't think you were on the last Power Leaders call, were you? I don't think so. This past week.
Madeline,
Okay, so let me
tighten it
lead
up.
into.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
there was a conversation about the retailing, and I interrupted, like I sometimes do before my hand is called on. And so I got some feedback on this networking model, which I get a lot all the time anyway. And so I was talking a couple weeks ago, Mike, when you weren't on, Dave filled in for you. And he
Okay,
and he said he couldn't
we've got to
afford.
get really to
Okay,
the
so
point,
I'm going to
Madeline.
get to this. I'm getting to this. He asked the question. He asked me, Madeline, what you know what the Grubers are doing, and I said what they've been talking about is this 15,000 qualifying as gold, and they had more months this year as they did last year. Well, that's their retailing. They're always the top retailer, and so I've already talked to Sue a lot, and so anyway, today I was talking to Barb Satterwhite, and here's what I want to say about this whole thing on retailing, because I got a lot of feedback about my comments that I made that day, and I said, get your calculator out, and I'm suggesting that to all of you. This is the basic model, and the basic model is there's you in the middle, and if you and your 5 customers each have 500 CV, not PV, but CV dollars. And each of your 3 people under you each had that same little model. Now the next slide, Mike,
Yeah.
because then I'm going to, okay, so this model. So with your calculators, say that you had 3 Ron Barnes, not 3, okay, no, 20. If you had 320 of the top retailers, Ron, Barb Satterwhite, all those other people, and you multiplied 20 times 15,000, what's your total? Put it on your calculator. That'll be 300,000. Okay, so at the bottom here, Mike, do the next one where it shows the 3 times 3 down to whatever. So 3 times 3 down to 729. So now multiply 500, because each one of those units are 500. It's actually more than 500 when you count the person in the middle, times 750. So 729. So if you had your 729 people in this model of 3 times 3 and all that you're duplicating is that retail model. You have your 5 retail customers in there, and you will get more than 5 retail customers with all that we're doing with retailing
So,
now.
Madeline, just
So if
that
you had
generation alone.
700, this is a gold to a royal diamond showing the depth, and what's your total there? It's
Just that
300,
generation alone, just
just
the sixth
just that.
generation is 364,500. Just the sixth.
364,000, exactly. So what's better to have a network and the depth of a whole lot of people doing and out of those whole lot of people, when you have 729 people, somebody in theirs will have the vision and will become the networker. Some are going to catch the vision that
Now,
Anya and I
let
and
me
Pam
let me
Barn.
add to this because this is only conceivable. This concept is only conceivable if we learn how to do something simple that is easy to do, that we can learn how to do, and are able to quickly transfer that understanding and duplicate it. And of course, we use the ABC concept to transfer the understanding. So if we have something that we learn how to do, attract some customers, attract some partners, we learn how to do that. And we do that in a very an efficient way, a very simple process, and it's efficient. Let's call it a process that leverages some simple tools. Then, by duplicating that with some help from our upline and teaching how to do what we've done, not one generation, but just keep teaching it generationally, we grow a network. And this network is only possible if we believe that there's room in the marketplace for this to happen. Is there enough people out there looking for what we want? And is there, well, in any particular marketplace, in this case, let's just think North America, out of 300 and plus million people, 350 million people, do you think that maybe a million might be interested in this idea?
Might go to the slide with the graph of what market share we have
It's
now.
I don't have it
On this one?
on this one, but the what you're talking about here is where are we at in terms of market penetration? Where could
1.4%.
one, yeah, it's very
0.4%.
1.25%. Where could we be?
Even if we were 5%
Even
instead of
if we were
25%.
5%,
Yeah.
and by the way, that 1.25%, that's the lion's share of that is baby boomers, not Gen X or Gen Y or Gen Z. We haven't entered that market.
87.2% of that 4.1 billion was by baby boomers. So
Right.
Mike's 61 and I'm 78. We're the
So
baby
people
boomers.
my age and older.
Yeah.
So meaning people younger than us don't even know about us.
No.
So it's like we don't even exist. Is there room in the marketplace for this? Of course there is. And that's why Nikon has set its sights on 10x the company in 5 years, because there's room for this, lots of room. And we might not even make a small dent in the market at 10xing the company. It won't even be a big dent in the marketplace. So the point is this, and Miranda, the reason why this is not basic for new people, because we don't have new people on the call, but you and I are going to have a call. You and I are going to have a call after this. You and I are
Well,
going to have a call after
if
this.
I can join after this with Missy, Chrissy is.
Just you guys stay on the call. We'll just stay on this Zoom channel. But the point is, if there's room in the marketplace for growth to happen, and we show somebody how to create that growth by a simple concept that can be duplicated, like what we heard from Anja. It started with a vision, hers, and then it was the vision of the people she introduced this to, who they themselves had a vision for growth. And then they locked forces, they locked horns, they started going to work, leveraging the Nikon products and platform, and created a gold ship in 90 days. That's a good story. That's a great story. Now they have more than the Nikon opportunity, they have a story. And
I
when
think the
you,
key part of her story was the legacy. Here's an 80-year-old mother with her
yeah,
son that was in it before. How many of those people are out there now? I'm going back to call some of my, I've been in 28 years. There's a lot.
so
Yeah.
so the point being is there's room for growth. There is ample opportunity for success to happen in the next 5 years, that anybody on this call could be producing golds every 90 days if you decided to. And if you think the people aren't out there, you're mistaken. Anya didn't even have to go look for them. They came to her. So trust me when I tell you, that's not uncommon when you make a committed decision that suddenly you start attracting people to what it is you're doing. But it comes right back to the first question I asked. What business are you building? Because if you don't have a picture, if you don't have a vision for what it is you're creating, and then Miranda, that's what we're going to get into, because you need to have as if you had gone through this process where this would not be news to you. So I'll take you through this presentation momentarily. But the idea is, if, for instance, Miranda had been presented to in such a way that she understood what the potential is, she understood what the vision looks like, and she made a decision about what she wanted to accomplish in the next 90 days, we would have a starting point and a path. But if all you're showing her is a product that she can buy wholesale, what is the context of that? Where does that lead? So presenting Nikken in a systematic way where all the check marks are checked, that's the only chance a person has of being able to say yes in the right way to creating what it is that they want and attempting to even go after it. You got to have the check marks checked off. The question is then I have for you, those of you who are on this call, auditing this call, what is your system that if I've checked all these boxes, I've walked somebody through the process. There's no other process. This is the process. I've checked all the boxes. They now have everything they need to have in order to make the decision they need to make, which is aligned with what is it that you're building. I'm not building a retail business. I'm helping Nikken achieve 500 million in the next 5 years. We agreed, Dave and I did the math. That's going to take 100 new diamonds. 100 new diamonds. Not existing, new. So where are these diamonds going to come from? So Dave and I have got new lenses. You can't see mine because they're like, maybe they're contact or invisible. But what I'm looking for are diamonds. I'm on the hunt for diamonds. Anja was on the hunt for golds. I'm on the hunt for diamonds. What are you on the hunt for? What business are you building? So
I have a suggestion, if you don't mind.
I really want to wrap this call.
No, Barnes and Anya staying on the call too, because
Yes.
we're in the Alliance to Royal.
Fine. You
And
guys stay on the call. We'll wrap
Leo,
up this call.
Leo.
When I hit end to end the recording, then we'll have the recording. So maybe let me just do that because we don't really need to go further, right? Let's do that. So I'm going to end the recording. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you come again and bring a guest.